He is entering his 14th year in the National Football League, the 2008 draft choice out of Boston College of the Atlanta Falcons. Joining us here on this May Day on the Rich Eisen Show, Matt Ryan. How are you, Matt?
Rich, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure to have you on. So what does a mid-May day in 2021 look like for you right now, Matt?
It's pretty nice here in Georgia.
Okay, that's
Weather's good.
That's a good start.
I had a little workout this morning on the field with the team. Going through some of the new systems, throwing a little bit this morning, and then some virtual meetings this afternoon. So not a bad little Tuesday.
So what is it like learning something new-ish? What is it like having a new coach, new system being brought in a way? What do you got for me on that?
That's exciting, and I think new-ish is probably the right way to put it. I think there is, some carryover from some offensive systems that I've been in the past. Arthur Smith has worked with, Matt LaFleur, who was obviously here as a quarterback coach for us in 2015 and 16, but he also worked with Mike Mularkey and Terry Robisky, which were two guys that, we're here. Mike was my first offense coordinator in the league, and Terry was wide receiver coach here for, 8 years with me. And so two guys that I know well. So there's a lot of kind of a carryover between multiple systems that I've played in throughout my career.
So there is a lot in here with which you're already familiar or is being kept in because you're familiar with it. And this is your offense for the Atlanta Falcons moving forward here.
Yeah,
pretty much.
There's definitely some new things, some things that are different for sure. And the terminology is a little bit different, but at some point, there's a lot of people do a lot of the same things. And so yes. You're just trying to translate, concepts that you've run before into new names and making sure you know it. And it's been fun, though. It's I think at this point in your career, the longer you get, a little bit of a jolt of new and a little bit of having to work on things that kind of invigorates you and gets you going this time of the year.
Matt Ryan here on the Rich Eisen Show. You mentioned a jolt of something new, and yet the word jolt could have been a completely different ball of wax had the fourth overall pick been somebody other than Kyle Pitts, who I want to get to in a moment. Where did you watch the draft, Matt Ryan? Where did you watch that? Walk me through your draft night.
It was not that exciting. Yeah, just at home. So it came on. We put the kids down. We've got twin boys. Put them down, and I watched just my wife and I. So it was low key. But yeah, not a great story behind it. Just on the couch like everybody else watching on a Thursday night. But
I think you're a smart man. You know where I'm driving at here. Did you know going into that night it was going to be Kyle Pitts? Did they clue you in at all on what was going to happen draft night atop the draft, Matt Ryan?
No, not really. I think they were up front the entire time, right from the start, as they were with all of our players, saying that they're going to evaluate this draft, find the player that they think is, the best fit and the best for us moving forward. And it's your responsibility as players, regardless of who we draft, to go show us that you're the right person, for the position. And so I think I was treated the exact same as everybody else in our building. But I was certainly excited when it was Kyle. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
And fired up that he was going to be a part of our building.
So, again, communication, and this is what I find so fascinating about your scenario and situation, for the lack of better terms, Matt Ryan, is, there is another MVP quarterback sitting up in Wisconsin, and we are all consumed by what may be going on between him and the front office because the communication apparently was not there for him on a draft night in 2020. And so what else can you tell me about the communication that was between Arthur Smith, Terry Fontenot, maybe even Arthur Blank and you, Rich McKay and you, to make sure that you were clued in as much as possible, so you understood what was happening here with you having a window of opportunity left in the league that's on the back nine, if you will, Matt. What can you share about that?
Yeah, I think, I think they were all open and honest, all four of those people that you mentioned. And they said, listen, we haven't made any decisions, but we feel like we're going to draft this person, and that is the best player available for us at this spot. And whether that's quarterback, whether that's defensive player, whether it's tight end, whatever that may be, that's what we're going to do. But there was also, communication that we believe that you can play for us. We're excited about that. And so, while it's not always necessarily exactly what you want to hear from coaches, I think as long as they're upfront with you, to me, that's always been, all you can really ask for. I've been very lucky in my career to always have that here in Atlanta, and that hasn't changed with new regime coming in. I think they're very open and upfront with me, and I appreciated that right from the start.
Yeah, I mean, Arthur Smith, and the two times I've interviewed him, strikes me as there's there's no smoke and mirrors. Like, literally, it's right there on his sleeve, on his chest, in his mouth, what comes out. That's what struck me a couple times. I'd never interviewed him before he became the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, Matt.
Yeah, he strikes me very much the same way, and I appreciate that. I think you appreciate it more too the longer you've been around, the older you get. Just be upfront with me, and I think those guys and Arthur Blank and our entire organization has done that, has done that for me. But I think he's really consistent with all the players right now, and that's something that I think you get on our Zoom meetings and you get a feel for how things are going to be run, and I think that's very much the point he is getting across.
So when Kyle Pitts gets drafted, what was your draft? Like, if we had a camera on your draft home scene with you and your wife, what would we have seen once Kyle Pitts got drafted, Matt?
I think my wife was more fired up than me. Sarah was ready to go, and yeah, it might have been an expletive or something like that. I don't know what.
Let's LFG. We could have had an LFG in the Ryan household.
Yeah.
Okay,
right. So something right up that alley. But it was. Obviously excited, and in those situations, I've been in that situation too, and where you're up there at the draft. I was in New York, and it's such a game changer for that kid who's getting drafted and what their night looks like and what, next week. And so you're excited for him, but also selfishly you're excited to add hopefully a great player for us that, can help us win games here.
So Matt Ryan here on the Rich Eisen Show, you said you just done some throwing. Have you thrown to him yet? Have you seen him?
I have, yes.
What's that? Everybody keeps saying that he is just matchup nightmare. Does not actually do justice what he does or what he looks like, what he can do. What about from your point of view, Matt Ryan?
Well, I've been lucky. I've played with some really good players, in my career. And the consistency I would say that he has to some of these really good players is that he's eager to learn and he wants to do it right. And he's wired in that way. And to me, obviously his skill set is incredibly impressive. That's why he was drafted fourth. And, you can see that just from watching him play in college. I mean, it's impressive. But I think the thing that fires me up is, he's locked in, he's engaged, when he's out there on the field, when it's time to work, he's ready to go. And that's a similar quality that all of the really good players that I've been around in my career have had. And so that gives him a chance. He's got a long way to go. There's no question about that. But he's got the right mindset, the right kind of energy and mental energy that I think it takes to be really good in this league.
No, and I know he's just a rookie, and I know you've thrown to Tony Gonzalez. So, and I know those are two essentially for the position of tight end, maybe the two polar opposites on the spectrum you can possibly get between rookie and TG. So
yeah, I think it's just hard to put an expectation on somebody
right
like that. And the message that I'll always hammer home to him is not about how gifted Tony was. I mean, he's incredibly gifted, unbelievable. but how he worked, what the day-to-day was like, why he was good. Those are the things that, I feel like I can help him with moving forward. Having been around guys like that were so consistent week in and week out, what their practice routine looked like, how they got themselves ready to go, how they took care of themselves. Those are always the things, that I'll be able to, pass along and connect him with Tony. And that'll be things that will help him be more consistent as he moves forward.
No doubt. And then at wideout, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, you and Kyle Pitts together. I mean, have you just even for a moment thought, while you're driving in the car or just a quiet moment, my gosh, this is amazing potentially what I've got here set up for me as I'm entering year 14 of my NFL career.
No doubt. Really appreciative of where I'm at going into year 14, the guys I have around me. That's what you dream of as a player. You want to play with great players. You want to be on great teams. You want to do those kind of things. We got a long way to go to get there. And we got a lot of things that it takes more than just a couple of guys on the outside to win football games. We got a lot of things that we've got to do to get better. But we certainly have some pieces that fire me up. And, I'm excited about that.
Well, you know what? I mean, if in case you want to have a shorthand for it, Matt, and, it's you and Calvin and Julio and Kyle Pitts, I think you should just refer to yourselves as the Pitstastic Four. What do you think, Matt?
You're the king of coming out with perfect nicknames.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
You've been doing it for years.
I do have a reputation.
Matt, you're being too nice.
Certainly. No, stop. Be quiet. You may not chime in. I've been cultivating this caper. Stop it. I even have. I even had my crew mock up a comic book cover, Matt. There it is on the screen. All four of you on the heads of the Fantastic Four. You can't.
I got to see this. I got to get a tape of this. I'm on the phone right now.
No, I understand that. Trust me, Matt. It's coming your way. But just so you understand, Kyle Pitts is Mr. Fantastic because he can stretch defenses with his amazing catch radius and incredible wingspan. Julio Jones is the Human Torch because he can fly down the field and burn secondaries all day long. The Invisible Man is Calvin Ridley because he can disappear from a defensive back sight right off the line only to reappear with the ball in the end zone. And you are the Thing, Matt, because your stone-like skin makes you resistant to blitzes and perfectly reasonable nickname suggestions. So, wow. That's the pit. Do you really, though? Please tell me. This is important. Do you love it?
I got to see the graphic. I don't have the graphic.
Well, just conceptually.
I've got to see the graphic first. But I'll be honest with you. You sound like you've given us quite a bit of thought. So, a lot more than the natural. A lot more than the natural.
I've got nothing better to do, Matt. It's mid-May. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
but
I hear you.
The Pitstastic Four, it's got a ring to it. I'm just saying.
Well done.
Thank you. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I'm looking for. I told my wife I was going to do this. She goes, please don't do it. Yes,
please don't.
My wife's from the Boston area, and she's got the LFG in her too, and she's telling me no, but I only know one speed. Speaking of which, did you see Michael Vick? Did you see Michael Vick running a 40-yard dash of 4.7 and change at age 4 flat for him?
Yeah, Mike only knows one speed too. All gas. He can still move. That was impressive to see that.
Did you? Yeah. So what was your 40 time back in the day? Did you run one?
It was never 4.7. I know that much.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best I ever did was like 4.89, something like that, just under 4.9, which I was pretty proud of.
You should be. Wow, Chris, is that the one?
Nailed it. 4.89, Matt Ryan. Well
Matt.
There you go.
That's impressive.
You never forget that one time you broke 4.9.
And don't cheat you on the 100th of a second.
No doubt, man. That was a big deal.
That is a big 4.89. Isn't that amazing? It's just 1/100th of a second, but 4.89 sounds so much faster than 4.9 flat. It really does work that way.
100%. 100%.
Hey, Matt, thanks for the time. Really appreciate you every time you call into the show. And let's do it during training camp and before, again, your 14th season in the NFL. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Sounds good, Rich. Look forward to connecting then.
That's it. That's Matt Ryan at M_Ryan02 on Twitter, right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.